Hello, friends. It is Monday, March 20th. It's officially the first day of spring, so happy spring. And right now, it is like 25 degrees outside. This is spring in Pennsylvania. It's supposed to go up to 50 degrees today, and I think there's a warming trend this week, but we'll see. So this is part 6 of how Jesus changed my life. And in the last episode, we left off with me finally publicly declaring that, yes, indeed, I had surrendered my life and submitted to the lordship of Jesus. And let me clarify that, because I think I tend to confuse things or make things seem confusing. Particularly the gospel, because on the one hand, the good news and faith is so easy to believe, and on the other hand, it's so profoundly hard to believe. And I have a very intellectual mind. Like, I want to know stuff. I want to understand stuff. I want to be able to just fully grasp the things that I believe. And a perfect example of that is when I was in 10th grade, I think. I had to take geometry, and I didn't do well in geometry because I didn't understand the theorems, and the math teacher wasn't capable of helping me understand the theorems. Essentially, he was telling me to take those on faith. And since those theorems were made by men, I figured there had to be a way for somebody to explain them to me that my brain would be able to grasp them. And it's a good point in that not everything we know is fully comprehensible. And so my understanding and grasping faith has been a years-long process for me, so that 17 and a half years after meeting Jesus, I'm still in the grips of wanting to know and understand God to the best of my ability. And how God meets us is different for each person, because we are all uniquely made. There's only one me on the planet. There's only one you on the planet. And God speaks to us completely differently because we are completely different. So that being said, when people ask me now, why do you believe in Jesus? Why should I believe in Jesus? I have better knowledge now. There's evidence for Jesus. There's solid evidence for Jesus in the Gospels and through, 2,000 years of people, scholars and individuals testing the Gospels and testing the words of Jesus. There's so much evidence. There are, I don't know how many manuscripts, original manuscripts of the New Testament. It's hundreds or thousands, I think, and they're all the same. They're all exactly the same. When people say that the Bible isn't trustworthy because men have changed it, it's not true. It is not true. In the original Greek language, there are multiple original manuscripts that are exactly the same. The differences today are that all of those, we have translations that translated from those original languages into languages from around the world. So in other words, I believe in Jesus because there is irrefutable evidence that he was here and that he is who he said he was. There is eyewitness testimony of him and who he was in the Gospels, in the book of Acts. Thousands upon thousands of people saw him, sat under his teachings. They saw him after he was resurrected from the dead. They're not made up stories. And even at the ends of at least one of the Gospels, if not two, the Pharisees knew who he was and that he was really the Messiah, to the point where they invented the conspiracy theory that his disciples are the ones who stole his body from the tomb so that they could perpetuate this lie. And there's just no evidence for it. That's where I'm at right now. So on the day that I officially said yes to Jesus in front of 2,000 people in church, my life changed so dramatically. Like I said in the last episode, the angry words and the swearing that would come out of my mouth came to a virtual stop. Remember how I had been getting drunk every day for 5 years by this point? It wasn't long after I proclaimed Jesus that I got to the end of the bottle of rum and I prayed a mountain moving prayer expressing to God that I had no doubt in my mind that if He helped me to bypass the liquor store on that day, I just knew that I would never need to drink alcohol again. And the very next day, I woke up and I never craved alcohol again. I didn't suffer with any withdrawal symptoms. My need for alcohol was just gone. And that is literally the second miracle of my life. The first being that I finally could hear and understand the words of God and believe in Him sincerely and truly. So, again, in the interest of keeping these videos short and sweet, I will end this episode of part 6 and just leave you with this. If you want to know God, if you sincerely and truly, with all of your being, want to know God, call on His name. He will reveal Himself to you, and you too can be saved, because nobody, and I do mean not one person, is outside the reach of God's arm. Thanks for following along the journey. I hope you'll come back as the story continues. And yeah, happy spring. I'll see you next time.